Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Siggers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bittner and Colin McIsaac from Gamnesia to discuss our reactions to the Nintendo Direct. So let's get started. Alright guys, the Nintendo delivered on their Nintendo Direct, and I don't know about you, but I was surprised by how much they showed off. I mean, I had a feeling they would show off a fair amount of their 3DS, upcoming library, but they kind of went all out here, just pretty much showing off not just everything we knew about, but things we didn't even know about.
Yeah.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's get our overall impressions here. Colin, what did you think overall of this Direct?
I thought good stuff. I don't think they pulled out any of the, big blockbuster surprises that anyone might have thought, like Mario Odyssey or something like that, but I don't think we were really expecting too much. They said Splatoon and ARMS, so I was surprised with what they pulled out aside from that, though. Clearly all sort of taking the back lines to those two main Switch titles, but tons of it. There's tons of it for 3DS and for Switch, and some of it was really impressive.
If you had to give it a letter grade, what would you give it?
I would give it an A.
An A? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Derek.
I think you're easily impressed.
Maybe.
I mean, it was a fine Direct, but like you said, nothing really blew me out of the water or anything like that. I mean, it was. I'll tell you what, it was a good thing they had it in bullet points because they were just rapid firing these games.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And it was crazy to keep up, but it was very interesting how we could, personally, I really appreciated the fact that they had those bullet points and we could see what was coming. So I'm like, hey, Andre, we've got to cover this next. Be prepared for this. Okay, this is coming up.
Yeah.
Be ready. It really helped us out. That was really...
It's like it was designed for us.
Yeah, exactly. It was really nice to have. And a lot of the games, there were some surprises, small and some small ones. And I think I liked what they showed of both ARMS and Splatoon 2. Both those got me more excited.
Both ARMS?
Yes.
I see what you did there.
And the best thing is we got release dates for both those games. We now have a very solid lineup of what we can expect on the Switch, at least in the nitty-gritty, from the end of the April, basically for the rest of this month, all the way till July when Splatoon 2 launches. And Mario Kart 8 covering basically May with a few other little things filling in there, and then having ARMS for June and Splatoon 2 for July. That's a good lineup to me. Yeah. So I'd give this probably around a B+.
B+, all right.
Nice.
I would actually agree with the B. I think I would go B on this. I think it was good. They showed off more than I expected and announced more games than I expected. None of those games are huge, though. Like Monopoly, for instance. Even though I am really excited for Monopoly, I'm like, hell yeah,
that's
Monopoly
one of the best-selling
on my Switch.
games of all time, Andre. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's true. You're right. That's like a heavy hitter, right?
See, you guys are wrong. See, as soon as I saw Monopoly, it's like, oh, why couldn't that have been Fortune Street?
Yeah.
Oh
much
man,
better.
I didn't even think of that. Oh man, okay, it's a B, you're right.
Told you.
I'm just sad now.
Oh man, look what you've done, Derek.
How did you?
I feel like this Direct really is just continuing what the Switch already is, which is fine for right now, at least leading up to E3. Like right now, we have the heavy hitters we already knew about, then a slew of indie and smaller third-party games, with a couple exceptions in there. So yeah, I think it was solid. Like I think they showed off a good array of games. They showed off more of the games I wanted to know about, like Splatoon 2 and of course ARMS. I was hoping, based on our previous discussion, for a little bit more, maybe a tease of more future content, which I didn't really get any of that. Like they're clearly saving that for E3. But I think what we got here is solid, so I'm sticking with my B here. Alright, so I think it's time to dive into the nitty-gritty, and let's go and start off with you, Colin. What was the most exciting thing you saw on this Nintendo Direct?
I don't know if I'm probably most excited for would be something like Sonic Mania or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that I know I'm gonna love, but at least in terms of surprises here that got me really excited, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, they've got, 2 or 3 new modes in this game? I thought it was just gonna be this hand-drawn, sort of reanimated version of Street Fighter 2 with 2 new characters, but no, they've got this first-person perspective, they've got some touch control things, they've got a co-op fight mode, I did not think it was going to be this much of an update, but the Street Fighter 2 engine is, to me, timeless. I think that's amazing. I love it when they go back to old styles of local multiplayer games. Street Fighter 2 is perfect just for the Switch's local multiplayer, 2 controllers, anywhere you go format. And so, I am stoked for that game. There are going to be so many ways to play. So many ways to engage with this really rich fighting engine, and it'll be, you'll be able to do it anywhere you go. Yeah. So, man.
I mean, I was aware of, I don't know if I heard about the 2-on-1 fights where you can do co-op with a friend, but I did hear about the first-person mode that they had showed off a little bit before in Japan. So that wasn't as shocking to me, but like for you, if you don't know about it, obviously it's like, oh, that's really cool. Which is sort of the purpose of the directs, to show off this stuff that maybe you're not as in-depth keeping track of everything, so this will surprise you with, hey, this is coming out, or hey, we're doing this with it. And I was actually really surprised with the release date. For some reason, I thought it was going to be like August for its release, but May 26th, that's not bad.
Again, there are a lot of games coming out over the next few months. Like that's what this direct really cemented. Like there are games coming, not necessarily huge games from third parties at least, with a couple exceptions. But there are a lot of games coming. You know, they're going to maintain that steady release schedule, which is good.
Right, and well, Derek, I actually had the same reaction as that, but with Minecraft. Because Street Fighter, I think a while ago they had said just a vague, like, spring or maybe May. But Minecraft was previously just 2017, and that's something that I have been really looking forward to on Switch, you know? It's old, but it's also timeless, and it's one of those games that's going to be just made exponentially better by the ability to take it anywhere you go with you. To hear that that's actually coming out as soon as May 11th, just a month from now, I was thinking maybe fall. You know, that's great news to me, too.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think they're really pushing to get it out there as soon as possible, because they did say that May 11th is only the digital release. It's not coming. There's going to be a physical version, but it's not coming out May 11th.
Right.
Which is fine. And I mean, honestly, that's the type of game I'd rather have the digital version of anyway. That way, it's with me at all times. Because it is.
I didn't even mind that they're releasing a physical one later. I'm not even going to pay any attention to it. I just want it to be able to access it all the time, not switch cards. But I agree with you. I think they are kind of rushing to get it out, because I noticed. I was really expecting that they would do something like a Zelda pack to go along with the Mario one when they finally released it. Of course, again, I was thinking it would come out in maybe fall. So if they're bringing it out in spring with just the Mario pack, I agree with that. Yeah, I think they're really trying here.
I was surprised by how close in release date ARMS and Splatoon are. ARMS is literally coming out at the last possible day they could release it. It's this last Friday in spring, also being the end of E3. It's literally coming out on the last day of E3.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. I mean, I guess it's like a reward for fans who are watching from home. But
it is. And you know what's really funny? I said exactly that in our E3 or in our predictions discussion for this direct, which I actually ended up cutting out, so no one's gonna believe me now. But I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be cool they did this like on the last day of E3, the brand new game to play? So that's gonna be kind of crazy. But that is fun. I think that'll be cool. People will have, you know, it will kind of maintain, like, it will continue the E3 hype, right? Through the weekend and through the following weeks. It all kind of blends in there.
Totally.
And it's Splatoon 2, the following month. I will admit, I was way off base. I did not think they would release it so close to ARMS. I mean, I think that's cool. I mean, the more games, the better. I wonder now, like, how much of a gap is going to be after Splatoon 2. Like, I want to know what they're going to announce at E3 now. Because if they're keeping up this pace, there's got to be some stuff filling in the gaps there that we don't know about yet. I hope. Unless there is a gap.
Well, I'm sure Smash is going to be this year.
You think so?
You know they're going to do that at E3. I think so.
Yeah.
But whether it's fall or winter, who knows? I
could see August being a dead month, because it's usually just a dead month for every system. But I can, we were talking about this in the predictions video as well, Fire Emblem Warriors. That feels like a good September game for me, and like pick up this pace right there. Lots of content, and then move into whenever they launch Mario and the rest for October and beyond.
Yeah.
So that'd be my guess. I'm not expecting a big game for August. September, I think, is where they're going to pick up again.
That could be. All right. So what did you think of ARMS? This is our first, real good look at the game since the January event. And they actually showed off, a fair amount more. We got a new character, we got more, we got a better idea of how the, arms work, how you unlock them, and how they have different elemental attributes now that can play off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys think of everything?
I gotta say, I'm liking this game more and more the more I see it, because...
It looks good!
Yeah, it looks fun. I like the personality, like this new character, Min Min.
The noodle arms?
We were racking our brains.
I know,
yeah,
I love
noodle
that.
arms.
She's made of pasta. What a great character.
Yeah, she's based on ramen. Like, I never would have guessed that, because I don't think stretchy ramen or anything like that at all. And I love her design. Like, I was looking at her, and she has a ramen bowl on her head as like a knit cap, and stuff like that. It's so clever and so cool.
And they were fighting in like a ramen bowl arena too.
Yeah, where there's a big dip in the middle.
Yeah, that was real cool.
That was really neat, and showing off like the new arms that they could they could purchase because there's different ways to unlock them by earning, I guess, cash. And like they have all these variations of types of arms that you can have, and then they have elemental types like fire, ice, explosion, just all this other stuff. So there's actually quite a bit of depth I can see here, figuring out what works best for what situation. And if they can just nail that single player content, make me interested and keep playing, and as well as having fun multiplayer modes, I'm all in. I think that's really cool, and I love the idea of just this, not even free for all, but 2-on-2. Like, imagine the chaos and fun of that. I'm actually really excited for
the 2-on-2 reminded me of Power Stone, which is awesome. Like, that is what I want. Like, that looks... This actually does remind me of, like, a combination of Power Stone and Overwatch a little bit in terms of visual style, really, more than anything. But yeah, I'm, like, this really got me excited. I want to see more. I want to see more of this game. I want to play this game again. I already played a little bit in January.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think the 2-on-2 is what really got me on this. That's the best thing. I'm probably gonna get arms. But I think the thing that that I'm kind of a little more reluctant about is actually the way that they seem to be locking the customizable upgrades and different weapon types to the single player mode, because they gave us a really brief glimpse of what's possible in single player.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was just kind of a half-baked training type thing. And so if they lock a bunch of those rewards that really enrich the multiplayer experience behind a single player experience that just isn't compelling, then I worry about that a lot. But I really hope that it's, we've only seen a couple seconds of that, so I hope they can prove me wrong on there.
Yeah, there has to be more to it, I feel like. I mean, there has to be more than what we've seen, so...
Yeah, I think there've got to be a couple more characters that they haven't shown off, and they're going to reveal a little bit more at E3 for sure.
I think so, although I originally predicted there would be 12 characters. I'm starting to go back on that a little bit now. I'm thinking even 10 maybe a little bit washy at this point, but I think we'll get 10 characters.
Officially 7?
We're up to 6.
Up to 6, yeah.
6. I think 9 or 10 is a good bet, yeah.
I could see that, but I think we could still hit 12 potentially. We don't know exactly how much they're holding back, and I just kind of hope for more characters because I love all these ideas they're coming out with. I want to see how much more creative they can get and really sell them. As far as single player content, I'm not worried yet. It's because I think a trading mode like that where you try to hit the most targets is a good thing, especially for this
motion controls
type of. Exactly, the motion control is giving you a better idea of exactly how you want to punch. Because I know they slowed down that fight a lot, but they showed how they could be sort of slow and thoughtful in the way that you fought each other and trying to figure out the best way to counteract them, and putting your abilities to use. Like, apparently, like, her Min Min's arms or left arm got damaged at one point, so it needed a time to build back up. And so she was able to play defensively until she was ready to go again. And again, there's a lot more strategy here than I was initially gave credit this game for, and I thought there might be some to begin with. But arms, I'm pushing this game. I think it's going to be a good one. I really do.
Same here. I mean, it looks good right now, and we'll be playing it in just about 2 months. So it's not that far away, and we're gonna have Mario Kart to tie us over until then. So it's good times. I mean, it's looking. This is crazy between Mario Kart Arms and Splatoon 2. It basically all just a little bit, about a month apart from each other. That is a ridiculous line of multiplayer games right there, of online multiplayer games.
It's great stuff. The only disappointing part about Arms for me is no demo.
Yeah.
So hoping for a demo.
Well, not yet.
You never know. We could see one sooner.
That's true.
Before it comes out, I mean. Although I don't know if this was the direct. Yeah.
I'm going to say though, or I'm going to throw it out there. The thing I was personally most excited for, Splatoon 2 Salmon Run. I have said before, I know there was some discussion I mentioned, and probably, I don't remember, it was some time ago. I mentioned specifically, I wanted a Horde mode in Splatoon. They gave it to me! Here it is! Like, we also talked about before, like a co-op mode. This kind of, that Horde mode by its very nature fulfills that. But yeah, we're getting both here. We're getting that, that co-op mode and the Horde style mode. And that looks fun. This looks great. This is what I wanted. So that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that, and even though I had hoped for it, and it looks like they're kind of nailing it. Like, I love that it has its own visual style. Like they're wearing the special outfits and whatnot. Like, this looks cool.
Yeah, and I love that they've got this other sort of enemy culture besides the Octolings going on now too. Like, they're really building up the Splatoon universe in this way, and I think that's probably the most excited thing the most exciting thing for me about this is that they're really expanding the world here. And they teased a new campaign mode, or something involving the Octolings at least. And so, putting those together, I think that, Nintendo is really sort of setting this universe up to be a lot bigger than just 2 games. So I'm really excited.
Mm. I think they really needed something like the Salmon Run, just because it makes it feel completely different from Splatoon 1. Everybody was complaining like it feels like more of the same. Yeah. This is something brand new, a new way to play together. Imagine, everybody set up on their own Switches now because you're able to interconnect with like LAN modes, playing and just talking with each other that way. That's gonna be a lot of fun, coordinating and really making that happen. And having these new enemy types, and the fact that they did show that you'll be able to revive each other, and get some sort of bonus from it. But it was just really cool. I like how they actually they had these power eggs in the first one, and they were sort of just a collectible. Now they actually have the origin of these eggs from of course, salmon. So it's just, again, great storytelling and world building just naturally extend upon it. And I like the design of the salmon. They're very zombie-like in creation, I think. I don't know. They're just kind of freaky looking, and different things you have to watch out for. Like the big one was using like a power washer type blast in the same way that I forget the name of the special, but one of the specials. It was just really interesting and cool, and the fact that you're able to revive each other as well. I love that little detail of a lifesaver on their backs, and you splat that in order to revive them. It's just so clever.
That was a really good mechanic, I think, too, for the team-based play in the Salmon Run, is you can revive your little Inklings. And I love the animation with the little squid ghost hopping around inside the little lifesaver pool.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is what they needed to show off. Something that really separates it from Splatoon 1. I will say, though, for as much as I like this mode, and I'm glad they showed it off, I think I was expecting a little bit more. Like, that's basically pretty much all they showed. I was surprised. I was expecting, maybe more stages for multiplayer really being shown, or even more single player, of course. But no, they focused on this one new mode, which is fine again, just not quite what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I did expect a little more. I've been really hoping to learn more about the main multiplayer mode in Splatoon 2 that's like an extension of the Turf War, just how they flesh that out, how they do the new zone capture stuff, and what the multiplayer maps are like, especially because I think that with Splatoon 2 coming out, Splatoon on the Wii U people aren't really going to use it anymore, and that's one of the big worries I have with these server-based games, is if they don't port enough content over from the previous iterations to the newer ones, then those kinds of fun experiences can get lost. And so I really do hope that they bring our favorite stages, hopefully all the stages and weapon types, back from the original. And that's something that I've really been hoping to see, and I thought they might tease like Black Belly Skate Park or something. But
see, I'm glad they kept it brand new, because, like we said, they were already getting concerns about it being too much similar. If there's like, hey, here's all these old levels, it's like, well, it's just Splatoon 1.5. It's not anything new. So
I think I expected that alongside like one old stage as a tease and maybe 4 new ones as.
Oh, you're expecting way too much. You're expecting way too much, because there was only what did we say, Andre? 6 stages for the original Splatoon when it first came out.
Yeah, it came with 5,
and we're already up to.
There's not going to be 6 stages.
And no,
for this
there's
one.
definitely going to be. There's definitely going to be more, but I would not expect that major, or especially dropping 3 new stages in one go. That's way too much for them to.
They probably are going to do that, the same slow rollout via the Tumblr that they've been doing. So, moving on to the 3DS, I guess, a little bit, and we're just kind of bouncing around here. We finally got a name for that Pikmin game. They finally showed it off again. It's Hey Pikmin.
Great, Nintendo.
Which immediately reminded me of Hey Pikachu, or Hey You Pikachu. So,
oh yeah,
right?
Oh.
So I kind of like I kind of like the name. Hey Pikmin. Get over here. Stop it. Hey, Pikmin, stop it.
I personally like it. I don't think it really communicates what on Earth the game is.
Well, it's not on Earth, so there.
Hey, there you go. You're right.
It's on a whole new planet. They said that. You're right. It tells me nothing about the game. So, I mean, I don't know how the name ties in, so.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like an odd choice, but I love the amiibo.
The amiibo is probably the coolest thing that showed off. Like, I'm one who doesn't really care about amiibo, but I gotta admit, that is a fine-looking amiibo.
It is gorgeous. I might buy that and not even the game. Who knows?
I'm hoping it's good. I really hope they find some way to have a fun 2D Pikmin game, but nothing about it has excited me. It looks fine, but it's not...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not anything you can look at and be blown away.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I liked what I've seen so far, and what they showed this time is just, more of the same. We already had a basic idea of how the game's going to work, and they showed more of it. So, yeah, we'll see. But I have hope for this game, so we'll see what happens here. And that's coming out in July, so also not that far away.
Yeah.
Now, what came as a surprise to me is that they're kind of going all out here for Kirby's 25th anniversary, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
And they announced 3 new Kirby games, 2 of which seem to be expanded concepts of what was in Planet Robobot, and then the third one that they teased, but they showed nothing of. They only said it was a multiplayer action game. So yeah, thoughts on these upcoming Kirby games, one of which is out literally right now, Team Kirby Clash Deluxe.
Yeah, that
I haven't gotten the chance to play it, but it looks cool.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I expected these at some point after what they did with the original, with Triple Deluxe and their games and how they became their own sort of individual release. It was going to happen at some point with the games from Planet Robobot, and Team Kirby Clash Deluxe looks fine. It was okay. I'm definitely more excited about Blowout Blast. Like, I had fun with that mode, but it was way too short. And the fact that they're expanding upon it for this next release is like, okay, now let's see what you guys can do with this concept and hopefully make it a lot of fun. As far as the multiplayer action game, I'm excited for that. Little disappointed it's on the 3DS instead of the Switch.
Right.
Because to me, this sounds like another game in the same vein as Kirby on Wii. That one.
Oh, Kirby.
Return to Dreamland?
Yeah, that's it. Return to Dreamland. And
yeah, that could be it.
I mean, that'll be fine, but I don't know. It's easier to play multiplayer on the Switch than it is on 3DS.
Yeah.
But do you think, I mean, if that's the case, do you think they would brand it or call it a multiplayer action game? Because Kirby, I consider Kirby's Return to Dreamland as a single player game with multiplayer. I don't know if I would consider it a multiplayer action game.
I mean, it might also just be something like Kirby Fighters 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be something a little bit more robust if it were on Switch. I think this might be more like a mini game type thing. But who knows? Maybe this is also the next big Kirby release, and they just decide, you know what, this is its Triforce Heroes moment.
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe. I mean, yeah, but again, I kind of wish it were on Switch. Like, I want to do all my multiplayer gaming on Switch now. That's where it's at. But,
yeah, for real. I really like the look of Blowout Blast, because it was one of those modes that from Robobot, which I didn't get the chance to play, but I was particularly interested in that minigame mode. And so I think it looks great. I think design-wise it reminds me a lot of the sort of Kirby spin-offs from like the Game Boy Color, Super Nintendo era. And I'm really looking forward to playing that. And so as for the multiplayer action game, again, I think we just don't really know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Hey, at least Nintendo is actually celebrating Kirby's 25th anniversary, unlike Metroid.
so true.
If they're just smaller games that you can get on the eShop on the 3DS, I do feel a little underwhelmed for Kirby's 25th. I was hoping for a little bit more.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it just has 20th, and I feel like they did pretty good with that. You know, with Return to Dreamland having that whole museum section, right?
Yeah. And we did get the anniversary collection on the Wii, which is nice, but
yeah, and it came with the soundtrack recording too.
That's right.
The cynic in me thinks that this might just be a label that they can use to promote discounts on these games when, the holiday season rolls around, and they can say, well, we're making 3 Kirby games this year. It is the 25th.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I thought it was a little bit. I was surprised they showed off more amiibo. Actually, not entirely. We expected, I think, perhaps not as direct, but sometime soon, the 3 Zelda amiibo.
Majora's Mask Kid Link. It's Majora's Mask Link, but it's his kid form.
Link with a Keaton mask.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I thought there was the Goron mask, actually.
Maybe. I saw the color.
Yeah. I think it's the Goron mask he has, and then Twilight Princess Link, and then Skyward Sword Link. Those 3. The thing I was surprised about with that was the way the rumors and the people were picking out with what you got from Majora's Mask Link for Breath of the Wild was Fierce Steedy Link. So a lot of people were expecting that the Majora's Mask Link to be Fierce Steedy Link. So
yeah, I was definitely on that train. But I like Young Link a lot. I like that Majora's Mask Ocarina of Time style for him. So I'm glad. I don't mind a change
because we don't have enough links in amiibo form. As
it would have been nice.
I think we're up to five different links, 6 different links.
I think it's more than that.
It's more than 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
sure.
we've got Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword,
Ocarina, Wind Waker.
Oh
Twilight
god, we do have 8-bit.
Yeah, Skyward Sword.
There's a ton.
Second
the 2 Breath of the Wild ones.
Now Majora's Mask. That's 7.
You can start your own football team with all the
8.
Link amiibo.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah. Wow.
But I was really surprised they announced the Smash amiibo. I thought for sure they would hold off on that until the a proper Smash Switch announcement, but they just threw them out there. They're coming July 21st.
I thought so too, and I think that means something big for Smash is coming at E3. And if not the announcement that they're releasing it in July, then the announcement that it's coming to Switch and it's coming a couple months after that.
There's no way Smash is launching in July, not the same month as Splatoon 2.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it would be a holiday title at best. I would honestly be shocked if it comes out.
I don't know. I think
year.
it could be a fall title because they're going to want to focus on Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But
here's the thing: there's no way it's coming out July 21st, the same day as the Amiibo,
God, no.
because that's the same day as Splatoon 2 comes out.
Right.
So
which is still weird that they're announcing or releasing the Amiibo on that day.
Yeah, there's a lot of Amiibo coming out July 21st.
They might just be rushing them out along with the Splatoon 2 shipment because they need to get the boats loaded and get the retailers stocked. So it's just a convenient time to ship out more Amiibo.
Could be.
Maybe.
That could be the main explanation. But either way, I was really surprised to find out that all 3 of them get 2 different versions of that character as Amiibo. My wallet is crying, but I am so happy.
Yeah, I mean it is weird that these got the focus, but these are three characters that do have two distinct forms in Smash Brothers, because Cloud, he have his classic look and his Advent Children look, Corrin, male and female, and Bayonetta, it's 1 and 2 look. And personally, I prefer the 2 look, but again, those fans are going to want to get both versions. Like, that is super smart to have 2 versions of, especially Cloud and Bayonetta.
Right. So there were a few other announcements. I mean, I don't think we had that much to say about all of these, but Miitopia got confirmed for the for North American release, or an English release. Bye Bye BOXBOY found out it's coming out today, which it's out right now, so that's cool. Yeah. And then we found out a little bit more about Fire Emblem Echoes DLC. So, you guys excited for all that?
Miitopia, I couldn't care less about. I mean, I've seen Nintendo Don's previews at it, and he very much says that it's a cute concept that gets very repetitious and kind of dull, because you're seeing these interactions, but it's actually a much longer game than you would expect, so those interactions start getting a little old. So I'm not really that excited for Miitopia. Bye Bye BOXBOY, I really like the original. For whatever reason, I never played the sequel, but it's just awesome that we've gotten this trilogy of games, and it's a complete trilogy. They said this is the end of the series. Right. And it's not a major character, it's nothing, big. I just like that this little segment of HAL was able to make this little trilogy of puzzle games and it's just have fun with it. And I guess with all these Amiibo announcements, it is a little sad that we did not get the Kirby Amiibo that was announced for Japan. So, yeah. But hey, at least we actually get to play the game. That's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Unlike Detective Pikachu, apparently.
Right?
If anything comes out of Detective Pikachu, I'd say maybe E3 or just Pokemon Company randomly talking about it. They have to do something with this series if that's what they're basing the first movie on. Yeah.
I think if we're gonna tangentially go on Detective Pikachu, my suspicion that what's happening is the first one might be getting ported to Switch, and that's where they're releasing the future installments, because Switch really seems to be the console they're pushing for the future. So that would be my suspicion if we're not going to get Detective Pikachu on the 3DS anytime soon. But we'll see. I think Fire Emblem Echoes DLC seemed kind of a given. I noticed it was interesting that they said you will be able to play some for free and purchase some, but they will both have new dungeons and new strategy maps. So that was good. That was real cool. And they said you might find more about characters' backstories, which means I'm guessing you will find more about characters' backstories. I don't know if that will be included in both the free DLC and the paid DLC, but can be cool nonetheless. So, positive stuff, but nothing that I'm particularly craving right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Emblem Echoes DLC is not a surprise at all because they've done it for Awakening, they did it for Fates. Season Pass is kind of nice because I don't know if they did a Season Pass for the past 2 games, so it's nice that you can just get this one purchase and not have to worry about buying them all piecemeal because usually they do have quite a bit of DLC that comes out for these games, so good to see. And I've never really bothered with the DLC before, so I doubt I'll do it here just because the Fire Emblem games come out pretty regularly anymore, so I move on so much from game to game that I wouldn't be able to enjoy it anyway. So yeah, it's not a huge deal to me. But we did get a release date for Ever Oasis, which is June 23rd, and that seems like a pretty decent release date for it. I mean, might flourish as a summer game, and it comes out a little after ARMS, but they're so different. I don't see any headbutting there. As far as what they're doing, I don't see a lot of interest in the game though, which is a bit of a shame because it looks cute enough. But I'm kind of with them. Like, it might play fun, but it's not one of those games that just hooks you right away as soon as you see it.
Right, and for me personally, I think there's been so many RPGs on the 3DS, and so many RPGs in particular that have like a sort of lighthearted fantasy, cartoony tone, especially with 3D character models and worlds. And so it's not that it doesn't look like a great game, but there's been a lot of it already, and so I'm just not quite as compelled. I feel like I've gotten that experience on 3DS enough before. Same with Monster Hunter Stories. There have been lots of Monster Hunter games, and it feels like there's a lot of JRPGs coming out to the 3DS that, at this point, they look good, but I'm personally sort of, I've moved on.
So Derek, I know you're a big Sonic fan. How excited were you to see Forces and Mania both shown off here?
It was cool. It was unexpected because when they showed off Sonic Forces, I was like, oh, it's probably going to just be all old footage. And then we got that little bit of classic Sonic gameplay. And then we got that little tease of the third character that we're going to be able to play as. And for the classic Sonic gameplay, I took another look at it before we did this, and I wasn't able to focus too much when we first were doing it. But it's freaking Green Hill Zone again. It's like, why do we need this stage again? We've done it so many times over the course of Sonic. It's a classic stage, but you don't need to just grind it into the ground. Now, granted, there did seem to be new concepts to the Green Hill Zone, but it's not going to get me excited. I mean, it's cool, like, yay, classic Sonic's back, cool, he's doing all this stuff, but Green Hill Zone again, woo. It just does nothing for me. The new character, you can only see him from the back. You can't. It's all shadowed and whatnot, but it seems to be a completely new character, which sort of fits with the Famitsu thing today, where the character was unexpected. I had a lot of people have been comparing the silhouette to Bubsy, which I find hilarious.
Oh my god!
I'm seeing. I'm seeing people like.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be disappointed with it no matter what now.
Everybody's putting like Bubsy's silhouette over it to show and of course the classic line, "What could possibly go wrong?" So the Sonic fan base is already having fun. I was actually looking for one thing in particular, and I didn't quite spot it because they were going off of unexpected. It was like, wouldn't it be crazy and kind of Sonic teamish to do if they took modern Sonic with classic Sonic, and he teams up with future Tails. I was looking for twin Tails. I didn't see any, but that was just a quick thing that popped in my head. Otherwise, I have no idea how this character will play. There doesn't seem to be anything about his character designs that screams, I can do this or I can do that. But apparently, this is the whole idea around Sonic Forces. So I'm very curious what they're going to do, but the funny thing is, the gameplay that they've shown for this game is very straightforward, both with classic Sonic and modern Sonic. And I really hope when they do show off the game at E3, we'll get a better idea of what makes this Sonic unique. Yes, it's bringing back the boost formula, but let's see what you're doing, because we're just running in a straight line for the most part for all of these. So, and granted, that's a lot of Sonic gameplay, and I don't want to come across as nitpicky-ish or anything like this, anything like that. But give me some new classic Sonic. I was excited for. It's like, oh, cool! They can come up with some new ideas for what they can do with classic Sonic, and it's freaking Green Hill Zone. Give me something new.
The grass is always greener, Derek.
Baby Sonic.
So.
Yep. You know what I was actually really excited for, oddly?
What's that?
They finally announced a release date for the standalone dock.
Oh.
I want a second dock! I want to use it in the living room without having to bring my dock everywhere. So I'm excited for that.
I completely feel that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's way too expensive,
they're still $90,
but whatever.
Right?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
$90. Holy crap!
Or, I think like 80 or 90, something like that.
That's
ridiculous.
I
mean, if they had like hardwired GameCube controller ports in there or something like that, I could justify the price. But I don't know. Until it's lowered, I'm just gonna pretend it doesn't even exist. Can't tempt myself.
I don't blame you. I'm weak though. I'm totally gonna get it.
I can definitely hold off on that. I don't need it.
It's definitely worth $90 to save me a few seconds every time if I'm plugging my dock.
Man, your time is worth a lot of money.
So, I mean, we could sit here all day talking about every one of these games. But is there anything else that stood out to you guys about this direct? Whether specific games you want to bring up or anything else?
There are 3 games that really stuck out to me. I would say Namco Museum. I was not expecting it all, but that's again perfect for the sort of part retro appeal of Switch. I think that there's definitely a lot to be said for the way that companies are recognizing they can bring retro games back into modern consoles again. We see this...
Except for Nintendo and Virtual Console.
Except for Nintendo. I mean, yeah, kind of. But at least Namco and SEGA and other companies can pick up some of Nintendo's slack so far.
That's true.
Namco's Museum looked great. I was really surprised by Monopoly, but I think that that's actually a surprisingly good choice. As much as we can joke about it, like, it's great for a game that's going to be released on a family console. And so I think that that's just a strong contender for, not like a sleeper hit or anything, but just like a game that proves the function of the Switch and really enforces it as the new centerpiece of the living room, especially for families. And the third one is Payday 2, which
that was a surprise.
Yeah, which I don't know if that's really gonna do anything for Nintendo at this point. It's a pretty old game.
Right.
And Payday 2, I think it was Payday 2, toward, like, later on in its life cycle, it started employing, I believe this is the game I'm thinking of, it started employing some predatory payment practices.
I remember those stories.
Right. So I don't know if they ever ended up fixing any of that. I would certainly hope that it does not come out with that kind of pricing model on Nintendo Switch. But, it remains to be seen how much of an effect this will actually have on Nintendo's market, because I think if they can get people involved and get people playing into that ecosystem, that's a great choice for a game that will attract non-typical Nintendo players to the Switch, especially from the PC crowd. But if they don't fix up some of those issues, if they don't make it a compelling purchase for 2017 as opposed to whatever year it actually came out, then I don't think it's really actually going to make that much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, it's nice to see it on there. We'll see if they actually change any of their ways. I can't see this being a success, but people are hungry for Switch games, so I mean, it really depends on what kind of market it comes out into. Like, if it comes out close to Mario, I don't see it doing that well. If it comes out like in August, with it's kind of a dead time, hey. 4-player co-op online game? Why not?
Sure.
A shooter? Yeah, on a system lacking them so far?
Yeah, exactly. So it really depends on its release timing as far as how much of a splash it's going to make. I will say, though, because I did hear about this in the Japanese Direct, that Lady Layton was talked about and was given a Japanese release date. And I'm so jealous. It's like, come on, Nintendo, start talking about this game. Bring it to the States. I want Lady Layton.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say one last game I was interested in for the 3DS is I think it's called RPG Maker Rez or Fez or something like that.
Fez, yes.
Fez. Don't know where the name comes from, but the graphical style looks cool. The customization looks cool. I like that you're able to share with your friends. I don't know how many people are actually going to end up picking up this game, and I think that the larger the audience, the more fun it will be. I think it's really important for this game to have a lot of players in order for it to really be this cool sort of social experience that will make it what it really needs to be to shine and to win our hearts and to fall in love with it. But it looks really cool, and I love the features they've employed, so I have my fingers crossed for that one.
All right, is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Any other games, or are we pretty good here?
I think
I covered all the major ones. I mean, we got Disgaea 5, Puyo Puyo, and Rayman, but we've known about those for a while, so it's nothing too crazy about all those. But again, it was just a lot of solid titles that filled out the release schedule, and I think that's what I appreciate most about this Direct, is it really filled out what Nintendo is going to be doing up until E3, and then a little bit after E3, but E3 is also going to fill us in for the rest of the year. So
right,
it's I like this consistent schedule that Nintendo's been keeping. Whether or not I'll be playing all the games is really up to how my schedule really lies out and whether I actually get interested in them or not. But they have games coming that might appeal to certain people, so keep it coming.
Real quick, before we fully wrap it up here, what did you guys think of the new format? I know we touched on it briefly earlier, but we really, Nintendo had teased that they were going to be switching up the formats, I think this year. And here we are. We're finally seeing a different style of Nintendo Direct. What did you guys think of that?
I thought it was great. I thought it was much tighter. It saved a lot of time on games that it often would have droned on for a while with useless extra information about. I just really loved that concise rapid fire style. I love the format of headlining it, and I liked a little touch, but I like how they put question marks for thumbnails of new announcements. I think that they did a really good job here, and I would love to see this format reused and improved upon in the future.
I've seen quite a few people come, I like the style of it, but I have seen quite a few people say that they're not a fan of how it ruined, that bullet point style ruined surprises. Now we all of a sudden, it's not like, we got this coming up next. It's like, oh, what could that possibly be? And then you get to see it. With this, you have those question marks, and something's coming, but it's also kind of clues. So I can kind of see where they're coming from, but for me personally, I don't mind it. Again, it helps us a lot because we know what's coming up next and prepare for it. And they're still going to have a way to surprise you and have new things coming out and make sure you're sort of taken off guard. Because like I said, I didn't see Monopoly coming or the Salmon Run for Splatoon, and they had those bullet points up there.
And if they need to keep it a surprise, there's nothing stopping them from just cutting in between two bullet points with something that they didn't even list in the presentation format. So there's nothing stopping them from just dropping a Smash trailer unannounced. So I'm not worried about ruining surprises. I think they know what they're doing when they make that format, and they think, something like Bye Bye Box Boy, it's not worth a surprise. Just put it in the format, why not?
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was cool. It was rapid fire, kept your attention. I think maybe it was almost too rapid fire. I don't think I was fully able to absorb everything. I had to go back and rewatch some of those segments before we did this discussion because it just flew by. I'm like, damn, there was so much here. But yeah, I thought the presentation, it felt good. It felt professional. It still retains some of that Nintendo charm without going too goofy, I think. I never complained about that before. I wouldn't complain about it. I've always liked Nintendo's Direct's goofy presentation. But I think this one does feel a little bit more professional while retaining that charm, if that makes sense. Especially, I thought they did a great job with the ARMS presentation. The way they handled that was very well done. I like the announcer they had. They just presented everything in a very fun way and tied everything together, all the games, just in a way that kept your attention without being boring.
Yeah. And they even had that same sort of thing with Splatoon, with the labs, the research labs. So, they still have a lot of personality with each one, while also getting a lot of information out there very quickly.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So, Colin, do you want to tell people where they can find you at?
Yeah, on Twitter at Colin McIsaac. That's ColinMciSaac.
And you'll find the link to that in the description below, as well as links to our Facebook and Twitter pages at GameXplain, which is a great way to keep updated on everything we post. And of course, make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for lots more from this Direct and other things gaming as well. Catch you later. Bye.